sit down.
I did all the buttons in the wrong order. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake, and today we are joined by the fabulous, fantastic Jon Russell from Warlord Games, who is joining us direct from the UK right now.
Thanks for that intro. That's funny. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good to be with you guys tonight, or morning, whatever you want to say.
Yep. No, it's super cool. I'm very glad that you are you're with us. I know that I think when we originally talked about this, you weren't sure about what dates you were going to be in the UK, but we're just catching you on the very tail end of like a 2-week trip.
Yes, go home tomorrow.
Loads of time talking about all of the Warlord Games products with everybody at the head office.
Yes.
And currently you're sitting in Birmingham, about 3 minutes away from your airport.
Yes, I can see it from here with the quarter moon up in the glass, and I'm got all this heavy reading to catch up on.
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
It hits the streets the 26th, but it's already been shipped out to a lot of places. I think the first place we shipped it out was to Oz, because they're the farthest away, and we just kind of rolled it up on. We've had some issues with the availability. We sold out pretty much. We're already getting into a second printing maybe. It's over 8 or 10,000 copies. So it's been going nuts. If you've pre-ordered, you'll get it. It's coming. You just got to be patient. It hits the streets. Some of the local stores, maybe your FLGS has already got it, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Excellent. We're going to say hi to Richard Ralph, Luis Sanchez, John Steining, Scott Reedham, Dave Hummel, Patrick Keith, Alan Borthwick, Chris Kemmig, Josh Potter, everybody who's in the chat at the moment. Scott asks, John, is Conflict 47 under your umbrella?
Everybody wants to know that question and answer. And I did have a nice chat with Andy Chambers and Roger Garish, and they had a question and answer session. And we also talked with Alessio and Beth, who did a lot of work on this. And there is some really, really, really cool stuff in the pike. We'll probably see more and more glimpses as it comes. I think we're going to do a pretty good reveal at Adepticon. At least that might be the plan. It's ours, so we own the IP. And I know Jake is lined up to be a playtester, and I heard a lot of things I can't talk about. And I've seen a lot of things that are pretty cool, but I can do this right now. If you know of or are a diesel punk artist, and I mean a graphic artist, a guy that paints and stuff. We got a lot of pictures and miniatures. We got a lot of pictures, and we got a lot of things from Peter Dennis. I mean, he's the man that does a lot of this. But we don't have a lot of diesel punk. And Natty Chambers asked me directly himself to start looking for diesel punk artists. So if you know a diesel punk artist out there, send me your portfolios, jon.russell at warlordgames.com, and we will take care of it and maybe get you in. So please send us your pics.
Awesome. I knew it was going to be great when we had you on, John.
Thanks, Steve.
John's when Warlord Wednesday live streams. He basically goes through everything that's going on with Warlord sort of each week, events that he's going to be at, things that are coming out, stories that he's heard, all that sort of stuff. So down in the notes below, there's a link where you can, after this show, stay and watch the whole show. Like and subscribe and all that fun stuff as well. But you can go with John's Facebook page down below for the Warlord US demo team.
Yep. Now tomorrow's probably going to be recorded because I will probably be in the air somewhere over Dublin on the way home. So usually if I'm in there, I'll record. But so much happened last weekend. I got to do a show So I'll probably figure out after we get done with this how to record it on Facebook and make it launch at the right time. So stand by.
Well, what you could always do is you could link to this one.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's
and I'll
do
link back to yours. Yep, yeah. That'd be
you
great.
can just do the same conversation.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Fantastic. Go for it. Painting has joined us, says hello. Dave Hummel says suddenly wishes he had some drawing skill. Steve says Josh Potter.
Let's see your drawings.
John, I will pass the word. There's a bunch of guys that we got to hang out with out at
Excellent.
out at San Diego Comic-Con, and there's a couple of guys I know who are pro artists. So I'll drop that into the Shark Tank and see what they think. So
thanks, man. I'm a little jealous where you were at. That sounded like a fun time you had.
Yeah, it was. Dave and I had a blast. It was a good time. So
yep, definitely great. Scott says, I remember John from this year's LVO. I bought an American K47 starter set from him.
Yeah, and it's still good. All the stuff that we have out is going to be fine. There's just going to be a lot more things to add. There's a lot more plastics, and because we've got Andy and Cam and William King and Gav Thorpe and Roger Garish, you know it's going to be darker, grittier, more named characters, more walkers, plastics. There was talk of maybe getting Achtung Panzer K47 cards and stuff. So
I just need to talk to Andy and the guys to make sure that the walkers look cooler.
Oh, dude, the pictures I saw, man. The pictures I saw.
Okay, we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah. And then Andy down at Skytrex was talking about all we gotta do is put a K on the C for Cruel Seas, and we got Cruel Seas 47, change some turrets, and there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's going nuts. It's just it was a good show.
Awesome. That's great. So we will I think we'll jump in. We'll talk about a few things because I know Jake Jake sent me some photos for
go Jake, go
this weekend. So there we go. Check that out.
I was at Granite State Comic-Con in New Hampshire this past week. It was really fun. So today it's I'm gonna get this wrong. I don't want, and somebody's gonna be mad. So I believe that this was the 40th anniversary.
Nice.
Of the Ninja Turtles, I think.
Good model.
That sounds about right.
So like, the tag and everything is Ninja Turtles, and they had a ton of like crazy guests. I was blown away for a show that is regional for me and is relatively small. I mean, I think they've done it a handful of years. I don't think it's been going on that long, but their lineup of special guests was crazy. Like I was absolutely blown away. They had a bunch of the guys that played Ninja Turtles in the movies and stuff. See if I can find like the big names that people might actually know. I was just kind of like, it was a lot of like, hold up, you got who for Granite State Comic-Con? It's just kind of nuts. So the big ones were this guy Johnny Young Bosch, who plays Power Rangers. He's the second Green Ranger. Cal Dodd, who voices like Wolverine in the cartoon. He's voiced Captain America in the cartoon. He voices Wolverine in X-Men 97, like the remake of the 97 cartoon. They had Todd Habercorn, who apparently does Fairy Tail. He does Genshin. He does a lot of like anime stuff. Amy Jo Johnson, who's the original Pink Power Ranger, was there. Nolan North, who everybody knows from video games. He's like the lead. He's Drake in Uncharted and a bunch of other stuff. But the biggest one for me was they got Jonathan Rhys Davies. So
nice.
Sala from Indiana Jones. Like he was in Sliders. He is super nice, by the way. Really, really friendly guy. He still has that really deep voice. I don't know if I told Dave this. We went to like the VIP lounge, which was just for like special guests, and they had like snacks and drinks and like a lounge where you could kind of sit down and relax. So he came in with one of his assistants, and one of the staffers was like, "Oh, can I get you a drink?" And his staffer was like, or his assistant was like, "Oh, what do you have?" And they're like, "Oh, we have water and Coke and Diet Coke." This, you named a whole bunch of things. And Jonathan Rhys Davies goes, 2 Cokes, please. And it was so like his like gravitas is just so over it was the most serious Coke order I've ever heard. Like that was super cool. And then they had like from the Ninja Turtles movie, they had Francois Chow, who played the original Shredder. They had Judith Hogue, who played April. They had Ernie Rice Jr., who I believe was Donatello. He's also was in like Sidekicks with Chuck Norris. He was also in Red Sonja. He's the little kid. He's also in like The Rundown with The Rock. He like beats up The Rock, which is hilarious. Robbie Rist, who played, I believe, Michelangelo. Kevin Scott, who played Raphael. Brian Tochi, who has been in a ton of stuff. He was in like Police Academy. But he plays Leonardo in the original movie. Maurice LaMarche, who's the brain from Pinky and the Brain. And then they had the 4 guys who voice the Ninja Turtles in the cartoon. It was super fun. And then there were a ton of like artists, and it was obviously a huge Ninja Turtles forward show just because like of the anniversary. But it was a ton of fun. So I was up there running their paint and take, and Build Paint Play did it. So they had me come up, and I had stickers to give out and business cards for us. And then I knocked out a bunch of these Marvel United minis. It was really fun. We probably went through like 150-ish people. There were other people that wanted to, but they didn't realize that they could just hang out and paint. And I only had a limited amount of space, so people kept like coming back and cycling through. But this guy was great. I knocked out Guardian as one of my favorite superheroes. Yeah, that was my setup. So I knocked out Guardian in like, I think like 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
It's my first time really getting to like mess with the speed paints. So the base is just one coat of their broadsword silver speed paint. Super cool. It's basically the effect of having like Grey Knight steel and then hitting it with a wash in one go. The tone on the light that's underneath him, that's just one coat of demonic yellow. That's it. I just let it pool real heavy around the edge.
Yep.
Works amazing. The model itself, I had sort of like just like loose spray primed with white, and then I went back and cleaned it up with the matte white that comes in the Fanatic set. That white is phenomenal. It covers so well. And then all the red is just Slaughter red right out of the bottle, which is another one of their contrast paints. And then like his skin is, I think, peach skin tone or something. And then his eyes are, again, demonic yellow because his Guardian suit, he has bright yellow eyes. But I was just messing around, just kind of showing people how like the speed paints work. And I was like, this is great. Like I did this whole thing with one brush and it took, 15, 20 minutes. It was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my setup. So thanks to Pete Shirey and the guys at CMON. I had a couple of the Marvel United Kickstarter boxes, which is all the X-Men like deep cut random characters. Like there's on the right, all the ones with the silver rectangles, those are all villains. So they have their own dashboard. And then all the guys on the left are all the heroes. So like if we play, Dave's a hero, John's a hero, I'm a hero, and then we run against a villain, and we have each character is on their own little deck to play them. And then the villains get to do stuff as well. But yeah, it was a blast. The minis are super fun. They paint up super quick. Dave and I got to use these at San Diego Comic-Con and just fell in love with how easy they are to teach on. Like they're such a great miniature for lessons, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I had eight spots, and it was full all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I took a bunch of different shots just to show like different people cycling through, and it was good. This girl on the end, the girl with the goggles on her hair, I feel really bad. So she came the first day, picked a miniature, was really excited, was working on it. Then came the second day, I told her she could take another miniature, sat down, she started painting it, and then she left, and left the mini.
Oh,
no.
And I didn't find it till like the end of the day. And I was like, well, I'll hold on to it. If she comes back, I'll give it to her. And then like never came back. And I was like, oh, that stinks. She did a pretty good job too. She did like her head and her body of Pixie, and then like forgot her. And I was like, well, okay.
That's cool.
So if that's you, contact Jake and he'll get you your miniature.
Yeah, I'll send you a replacement or something.
Yep. Drop a comment below. So just quickly going to say, go for it painting. It says greetings from Hungary.
Greetings.
Hey.
John. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And Scott says, nice work, Jake. Brings a tear to my Canadian eye.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's working on Mysterio right now.
Yeah. Dude, I love Guardian. He's the best. The coolest thing, and I think we all take this for granted. Oh, I'll go around this cast of characters in a second. I think the thing that we all take for granted is we all paint all the time. Or we've been exposed to it, since we were little. There are so many people that walked up and they're like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, oh, they're miniatures. Ooh. And they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm just doing a paint and take, but these are for a board game. And then they're like, oh, I've never painted before. I'm like, that's fine. And they're like, well, I don't want to wreck it. I'm like, you won't. Like, and then they're like, do I have to paint it the same way as the card? And I'm like, no, it's your miniature. Like, paint him whatever you want. If you want Sasquatch, who looks like a big Yeti, if you want him to be pink, paint him pink. Like, it's your miniature. Who cares? So many people get nervous, and Dave and I dealt with this a lot at San Diego, which is, well, what do I do if I make a mistake? And my rule of thumb is there are no mistakes. It's water-based acrylics. Just, you can add water to it and wick it away with a paper towel, or you can just let it dry and paint over it. Like, there's no mistakes. Like, everything's fixed. Like, there's nothing you can't fix. But it was really, really neat seeing people do it. I had this mother and father sit down with their 2 little kids, and the 4 of them hung out like early afternoon on Saturday, and they just hung out for like an hour and painted. And they were like, thank you so much. We've never done this. I was like, now you've got a new family activity you guys can do. It was just, they all loved it. The kids were like, thank you so much. I was like, seriously, like, that's why we do this. But it's just wild. Cause again, it's not new for us. So like, I forget that sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Who you got here?
Okay. So this is on Thursday night before the show. So there's this crazy barbecue joint called Casey's Rib Shack, and I'll give them full credit. Like, I've had barbecue all over the country. This place is legit. Like, they have some awesome barbecue. So that big shovel that you see in the middle of the table is the meat shovel. So we had 2 of them. There's one off camera this way, and then that one. It's literally a snow shovel that they wrapped in aluminum foil, and there's like a rack of ribs across the end, a big pile of brisket, a big pile of pulled pork, a big pile of pulled chicken, like some sausage links. It was nuts. So that's me on the left. That's Brian sitting next to me. That's his wife, Bree. Bree does a lot of stuff in the convention circuit. She has a thing coming up called CalmerCon, CALM, and it's for people who have like neurological issues or maybe just don't want to deal with like all the craziness of going to a big con. So it's much more spread out. There's no music or any kind of sound effect other than just the noise of the people who are there. And it's much more spread out. So like, there's quiet D&D rooms. There's places where you can go and kind of recharge. And I was telling her about Hank and Matthias were saying that in the new location, they've actually put in rooms like that where you can kind of go and decompress. But Bree's great. She's also written a book recently. She does a lot of like online social media stuff, and she works with the guys at Om Games. They make a lot of like kid-friendly stuff and party games and stuff like that. Next to her is Michelle. Michelle is there with Doug at the end of the table. So Michelle works for Amazon. She does a lot of like third-party sourcing and stuff. And then Doug was the point person for Free League Press in North America. Now he runs Free League Victory Condition Gaming, which is a really good podcast about like indie stuff, and they cover like indie RPGs. Doug is super nice, like literally one of the best dudes in the industry. Like John and Dave, you guys would both love him. He's just such a good dude.
Excellent.
His right is, I totally forget his name and I feel awful. That's him and his wife. They are friends with Doug's. They got invited out to dinner with us, and I totally spaced and I forgot their name. They were super nice. He's wearing a chibi Fantastic Four t-shirt. And at the show, they were dressed like Scott Pilgrim and oh god, what's her name? The girl with the crazy hair who can like open the doors. I can't remember her name. Yeah. Then next to them that's Brian Collin with the pink hat. Brian wrote a game called, oh god, what's the big one he has? Vast Grim. So Vast Grim runs on the Morkborg engine. It's a crazy like survival horror space game. He has a new card game he was demoing, which runs in the Vast Grim universe. And yeah, Josh is right. She was as Ramona Flowers. And then on the right, that's my buddy Alan Panicle. Alan is a fantastic artist. He's got a couple Magic cards out. He has an RPG that's about to hit Kickstarter in the next week or so called Ancient Ones. His art is some of my favorite around. Brian actually uses a lot of Alan's art in Vast Grim. But yeah, Alan is another super nice dude. Dave got to meet Alan when we were at San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, this was like our sort of pre-con, like let's all get together and hang out and get dinner. But yeah, it was awesome. It was a great time. Like I ate way too much meat. My body was like, hey dummy.
Impossible.
Awesome.
So for the longest time, there's been this theory that we're the same person. So
Who is this?
That is Matt Ryan from Chaosium. So the guys who make like Call of Cthulhu.
Right.
So Matt is older than me, but we're both 6'6". We both have mohawks. We both wear glasses. Like, there was a show recently, I think it was at Origins. I wasn't at Origins, and Chris O'Neill and some of our friends from 9th Level, there's this girl, Bug, who works for them. So Bug saw Matt turned around talking to somebody wearing a black t-shirt with his mohawk and was like, that's obviously Jake. And was like, Jake. And Matt didn't say anything and walked away. And she like followed him halfway across the hall and was like, Jake. And then finally he turned around and she was like, that's not Jake. And she like went back to the booth. People will come up to me and they'll ask me like what's coming out new for Chaosium. And as a retailer, I usually know, but then they'll ask me questions about like, you know, what's in the writing and stuff. And I'm like, who do you think I am? They're like, oh, you're Matt who works for Chaosium. And I was like, I'm not Matt who works for Chaosium. So we had to get a photo like this. The running joke is that Matt is me from an alternate future timeline, and he's come back and gotten stuck here.
Right.
Nice.
Excellent.
It is uncanny, the resemblance there.
Dude, the best part about this photo is his wife was like, can I get a photo of you guys? And we were like, sure. So I put my arm around him and she goes, say cheese. And I threw up the horns and I couldn't see what he was doing. So I thought he was just giving her the thumbs up. And I was like, the fact that we both threw up the horns is amazing. Like, that's
and they're opposite, you know, forward and back. So that's cool.
It's pretty wild. He's super nice. Really, really nice guy. Great writer. You know, ran a bunch of like Call of Cthulhu games, like in the game room for people. And it was really, really neat. There were other some other gaming folks you guys would all know, guys like Steve Jackson was there from like, you know, Munchkin and Ogre and all that stuff. He was there. Kevin Simbeta from Palladium was there. So yeah, they're trying to grow the gaming section and not have it just be, you know, comics, and they're doing a good job. Like, and that's all Doug. Doug is basically like the force behind that. So
cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Just quickly, Josh said, abandoned minis are sad. I have a special box for them, and I bring them to the next show's paint and take.
Yep.
And he says, I tell them it's just paint. You can't make a mistake.
That's right.
That's right. It's impossible.
John Roberts said, new painters that previously had a run-in with historical mini gamers, PTSD.
Oof, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that can be a dangerous
I get
thing.
it.
And Scott says, ask John if he likes people going rogue and painting bold action forces as they wish to, instead of following historical guidelines.
Funny you should mention that. One of my favorite armies I've seen out there at the conventions was a guy that was playing Waffen SS. And he said, look, if they're going to pretend to be clowns, they're going to paint them like clowns. And he has a whole Waffen SS army painted like clowns. Clown cars, clown tanks, big noses, floppy shoes. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we always have the Pink Panther contest, during breast cancer awareness, paint pink tanks. I mean, it's your hobby. Do what you want. You're your worst critique. If you like it, then do it. I mean, nobody can tell you it's wrong. Nobody.
Nice.
No. So, okay, yes. Sorry, we had a disconnection moment, and it looked like chat was disconnected too, but I think they are reconnected. So
seems okay.
Fantastic.
Speaking of lookalikes, I think you had something set up there for a minute there, Dave.
Yep. And Jake just disappeared. I don't know where he's gone. Oh, here he is. He's back.
There he goes.
That was weird. I was like, oh, I'll just refresh this, and it like refreshed everything and like knocked me out.
Nice. Okay, if anybody's in the chat, if you're still in the chat, please let us know. But yes, next up.
Here he is.
This is Dave's doppelganger.
This is Dave's doppelganger.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy that we had the doppelganger twins going on. But so John was actually the person who found this photo.
Yep. This is my claim to fame. But 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, we were at SpaCon, which just happened this weekend in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I walked into my room, and this picture was on the wall, and I literally said out loud, and Tony Radford was standing right behind me. Is this a PG or is this a what's the rating?
It's relatively PG. Yeah.
Okay. I said, I looked at the wall and I physically dropped my luggage and I said, what the fudge is Dave Taylor doing in my room? And Tony goes, who? I said, Dave Taylor. Dave Taylor's right there in that picture. I picked up my phone and I called Dave, and Dave goes, hi, John. I said, Dave, where are you at right now? He goes, I'm doing it. I said, what are you doing in my room? He goes, what do you mean? I said, where are you at? I said, I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and you're on my wall. And he goes, oh, bull hockey. And I'm like, no, it's right here. And I sent him this picture. And this is, as it says right there,
Dave's a perpetual.
Yeah. but this is a rum runner in 1937 named Owen Madding, and if you go into the big the convention center in Hot Springs, Arkansas, on the south wall is all the presidents, Roosevelt and Ford and Nixon and Carter and the Bushes, and on the north wall is Bugsy Malone and Al Pacino, Al Capone and Only Madden. And it's just like they're never there at the same time, but it was a known hangout place in the 30s and 40s for people of higher echelon in
this
the social
photo
status.
is amazing. This is still Dave's Facebook photo.
Facebook page, yeah.
Yep.
I love telling the story. And people are like, no, and then I show on the Facebook, they're like, that's Dave. I'm like, no, that's not Dave.
Yeah, so I was hoping that I was Ernie Madden, but no,
it's
actually
the guy driving. Yeah.
Check out the eyebrows on Oni Madden.
Yeah.
Ernie Madden was he also ran at one point in the early 20s, ran the Cotton Club in New York.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
pretty sure he was sent to Arkansas to avoid
chill for a while.
Prosecution, yeah, to chill for a while, exactly. But anyway, John was the guy who found that for me.
Yep. That was a fun day.
Ridiculous.
And it's so funny that we're talking on the weekend that SpawCon happens. It's a cool little convention, and there you go.
Everything lines up. There's a red line that runs through everything.
That's right.
But yes, John, sorry, I did mention this is the time of the show where we talk about our sponsor,
Army Painter. Love those guys.
Yep, the Army Painter, absolutely fantastic sponsors. This is our third season they're sponsored. Whoop. What's that?
It's my favorite color.
Is it death metal?
It's rough iron.
Rough iron,
okay.
Yeah.
Death metal was pretty great.
Yeah, we were sending a bunch of those boxes out of the shop today. I was in the warehouse, and they were packing up the big Mondo box, of Army Painters. We were sending a ton of those things out the door. That new Fanatic line is unbelievable,
dude. It's amazing. Like there were people asking me at San Diego if they could get the Fanatic complete range, and I was like, it's out of print. And then at Nova, I mean, I must have had, I could have sold 8 of them.
Yeah.
12 of them if I had them.
Yeah. Well, there's a big John on one of John's chats with Melissa. He talks about the white and the yellow and the red. And, that's been the bane of all painters of trying to find a good white, a good yellow, and a good red that'll cover one, maybe 2 coats. And Army Painter Fanatic does it.
Yeah.
I picked this thing from this slide from their Instagram page, because last week we had Adam Weller's whatever this model's called, Stormcast. Jake, what is it?
That's the Stormcast Eternal. I don't know which one it is, but is that the Celestant?
No, I don't think it's Celestant. Is it Veritant or something like that?
It might be the Veritant.
Anyway,
the one that Amos did has the other head, the one with the
one that Adam did. Yeah,
the blinded one.
A different head, but I figured this one was cool. The folks would like the magical flames.
Nice.
Yep.
Which definitely looks super cool. But yeah, as Dave Humble says, yes, that's one of the new ones. Whatever the new character is. But absolutely awesome. No, thanks very much, the Army Painter. Go and check them out, folks.
There he is.
Next up, before we jump into all the conversations about Warlord Games, so yeah, this is the Sergeant Sawyer charity figure. We mentioned it last week. So for those who don't know, Paul Sawyer, aka Fat Bloke, was huge in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s at Games Workshop as editor of White Dwarf. When he left Games Workshop, started Warlord Games with John Stallard, and has been basically the head of the studio there since
17 years.
Yeah, 17 years. There we go. So 2007. So earlier this year, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with, I think, a glioblastoma, stage 4 brain cancer. And the folks at Warlord have sculpted this mini up, painted up, and all proceeds for this go to the Brain Cancer Foundation. It's a charity chosen by Paul to help folks like himself.
That's a great sculpt too.
Yeah, I think it was by Wojtek, and I think Kristen, our painter, painted them up. And we had at an open day, we had them available for sale, and it was 250 tickets, and of those 250 people, I think 87 or 78. I get dyslexic with numbers sometimes, but we sold 80 of them right out of the back. So and all the proceeds go to that mentioned charity. So
do we have a link for it down below again?
We do. Direct link to the website, the web store with this, so you can go and buy that. You said it was Wojtek.
I think it was Wojtek. Yeah, Wojtek did it.
He sits and whenever I visited the offices, he's been sitting across from Paul for the last 15 years. So he definitely knows what Paul looks like. He'd know what Paul looks like. And he's holding that's the main model. I think that's a 3-up and or 75. It's a 75 millimeter one. It's in a glass case. And he's holding a copy of the new bolt action rule book, and he can kind of read the pages on and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
nice. Looks great. Fantastic. Let's jump into this. So as I said, that there'd be a photo of sort of setting up a Adepticon. But John, part of your role is to go to conventions or send teams to conventions, train teams to go to conventions, to spread the word of Warlord. How many shows have you and your team been to this year in the US?
I do. HQ wants me to do no more than 12 now. They tell me I'm getting old and I got to slow down. So I do 12 shows directly and 3 trade shows. But then we have other raiders that will go and help with a sponsored store. We have like Sherwood War Games, Fiorentina down south. They'll go to some events like Huracan, which is coming up in 2 weeks, and they'll be there, and there'll be a sponsor store, and we'll send raiders there. This is the setup that Paul Long, my raider in the north, runs, and he just was at Michigan GT this weekend while I was over here. So him and Jeff was up there. And we're establishing another setup like this. This is in Crown Point, so he's going to cover everything west of the Mississippi. And then Sean Bagley over in Salt Lake City will cover everything west of the Rockies. And then I'll have my setup in Oklahoma City, so I'll be covering a lot of stuff in the south. So we'll have 3 depots or 3 areas that we can cover and help spread out. So long answer to a short question, we influence or touch about 60 plus events a year with my raiders and myself. So we're represented somehow, form or fashion, at about 60 plus events every year.
That's amazing. I didn't realize it was 60. I thought it was like, I was going to say like 20, 25.
Yeah. I do I do roughly about 12 to 15. My raiders do about 17 or 18. And then we send support or prize packages, or we have sponsored stores now with raiders. So we'll influence about 60 a year.
And I'll give John full credit. Like, he's done so much work to make this happen.
Thanks, Jake.
He's put in so much of his own blood, sweat, and tears to make this work. When we talked a couple of years ago, John was basically doing almost a show a week. Like, there was one year that he did something like 46 shows, and I was like,
yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, because like he was the whole team. So it was like him and he has a bunch of buddies like Ogre and all those guys. Like, so they'll show up and he was doing like 42 shows or 46 shows or something in a year, and it's nuts. Now they have these new red cases, which just makes it so much easier. Our buddy Morris, who makes my backpack and all the Equilibrium stuff, they did all their marketing stuff.
The banners,
so they have banner packages now, and they've got like display, the big display banners, the pull-up racks. So it
Come a
just,
long way.
yeah, it looks so much better, and it's so much easier, I think, to move and maneuver that stuff. And I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work a couple shows with John as part of the Warlord team, and it's a blast. Like it's fun. The camaraderie is great. Like having all the guys there is awesome, and John does such a good job taking care of us all.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure to do it. So
Thanks. I appreciate that, Jake. Thanks.
yeah. Oh, dude, I will always speak truth, and when, like, believe me, if you sucked at it, I would have told you, and if you were not good, I would not even have brought it up. But you are you're awesome at it.
Well, the goal this year was to make them look pucka, as they say over here.
Yeah.
And they did this year. We had a lot of comments from trade when we were at the trade shows too. That people we're standing out now, like we should have a while ago. So it's good.
Awesome.
That's awesome. It's good to hear.
Cool. Nice. I think I grabbed this one as well. This is a sort of a bold action game in action at Historicon. I think this was in the Our Hobby Place booth. So talking about working with other folks.
Yep. Your Hobby Place is when we go to Historicon or some stuff on the east, like Nova. They were our representative at Nova, and when Mitch Reed went down there and did some stuff on Saturday. They have 3 locations now, I do believe, in the East Coast. That's Dave and Carolyn and Matt and Joe are the guys we work with those guys.
Right. Fantastic.
Great show.
Yeah, so this is at Historicon. You were working with them. They have a huge booth. It's like 40 by 60 or something like that.
It was 10 by 10 by 10 this year. So it was 100 feet by 10 feet by 20 feet wide.
Right.
Wow. It was a long booger. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, and then they had the wall. They had that wall because they couldn't get one of the sliding panels to close the place or something, so it was stuck. We ended up having like a wall we could put stuff up against. It was good.
Nice.
John, are these the Sarissa kits, or is this something else?
That looks like Sarissa kits. Yep. Oh, yeah, Sarissa and Foreground. We've been running a lot now with the Micro Art Studios. We haven't, and I just saw some of their new stuff that's going to come out in the next week or two. That's got snow on them. They're really beautiful. That Micro Art Studio stuff out of Poland, Sebastian and his crew, unbelievable. And they're at Adepticon every year, and it's just so much fun to talk with them. Yeah. And those kits are slick. I mean,
Foreground doesn't exist anymore, right?
Nope, Foreground is dead for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
No. It's dead now.
Yeah. It died, and it came back as a revenant, and then it was killed, and it came back as like a zombie, and then it was killed. So
yeah, killed, burnt, and shared.
Josh Potter says it must be hard to play on a table like that. It's uphill.
Oh yeah. Well, and I always say, there's nothing better than having a couple good friends, really nice table to train, some great playing miniatures, and some beverages of your choice. It just doesn't get better than that. It's just so much fun.
I agree.
Excellent. So the main thing, so we've established that you go to a lot of shows, you know what you're talking about, you work with a lot of folks.
Thank you.
We've got all of those things.
That's John's room, baby. That's the Mac Daddy right there. That's the sales team. They were over there, and they all got a chance to. Let's see. That's if we go from the left side, that's Austin, and that might be Jürgen, our German guy, and then that's Magic. Magic is he is just a cool dude from Poland. If you check out his Facebook page, they go out on the weekends and they'll reenact, and they got like horses and full armor and Polish. It's just crazy. Awesome. And then next to him, I'm not sure, it might be some of our Spanish guys, and then that might be Isaac, and then that could be John, and that's Billy, my man Billy.
Yeah, I see Billy there.
Yep. And then there's Marcus, and there's Isaac in the black shirt, and I'm not sure the guy in the black face on the farther right. Because that's Isaac. To the left is Marcus. To the left of Marcus is Billy.
Yeah, I know Billy. I've known Billy for years.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. And then that's Isaac, and the next guy over, I'm not sure. And then of course that's Carl Booker right there at the end, and that's our sales team. They're in John's room. That's John's playroom. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, John Stollard. You can see the Bren gun up on the shelf above at the end, and then there's a rack of all inert weapons over there. Now you see that they're pointing. If you could see closer, all those guns behind Isaac have their bayonets, And they used to be pointing the other way towards the door. And one day I came in and nicked my shoulder on it. So I think they turned them the other way because they're sharp still. And behind and you can't see it, but if you ever get the opportunity, the guy straight ahead in the black shirt, all the way in the back, right behind him on the shelf is 4 little miniatures, 28 millimeter. And those are the final submission for employment from the Perry twins when they were 17 years old. He's got the original models that the Perrys did for their final task to be hired by Games Workshop, and he's got them in his case. Yeah, and then if you're standing where the photographer is, behind him, you'll see an Ashanti shield and the Asagi from Zulu. He went over there, and that's one of his bread and butters. He loves Zulu and the Boer War, which we'll talk about later. He actually wrote a supplement for Black Powder / Bolt Action, and we'll talk about that with the Boer War. And that was going to be coming out probably next couple months or early next quarter. But that's John's room, and that's the Bolt. I think they're playing. They're teaching the guys how to play Bolt Action 3, and that was back in July during Historicon. I didn't get a chance to go out there because I was at Historicon, but yeah. But I was in there last Thursday, and we were playing some Black Powder.
Fantastic. Excellent. Next up,
there's John.
There we go. John Salad reading
his desk at work. Yep, there it is. It's a massive tome. This thing's 320 pages, and it's got 3 pages of index in the back. Yes, boys and girls, there's 3 pages of index in the back.
Nice. Indexes are good. I like indexes in rule books.
Indexes are good. Yep. But it's a thing of beauty. There are some typos that you always get in the first run that we'll be having fixed in the next one. And but we'll be fine. And it's good. And it's, like I said, I think it's already sold out first run.
Yep. As a publisher, I just know that there will always be a typo, no matter how many people look at a book.
Yeah. And sometimes it's out of your hands, Dave. I mean, you proofread that thing 2 or 3 times. You give it to Jake, and he proofreads it 2 or 3 times, and then you'll send it to your publisher, and they'll put a picture in that'll cover up a thing or the wrong picture you told them, and it's out of your hands. And it's just people don't understand the hard work that goes into produce, these books. It's just
yep. Absolutely amazing. But I think that's
there it is.
We've got that there. So
this Friday. Yep.
Launches
Thursday.
Thursday. Launches on Thursday.
Yep. Hey, there's the Bedford truck right there. Ta-da!
What I wanted to do tonight is to just have a quick chat about about the origins of Bolt Action, the key elements of Bolt Action, the game,
sure.
And then what does 3rd edition bring to the table?
Sure. It's been out for about 12 years now. Bolt Action has been in this is the 3rd iteration of it. The first iteration, Bolt Action, came out, and then it lasted for 4 years. And we put out a couple campaign books, all the armies of books, and we decided we wanted to tweak it a little bit. Rick Priestley did it, and then Rick Priestley and Alessio did it, and the 2nd edition came out 8 years ago. And we only changed one army book, and that was the German Armies of Germany book, because that was the one that just needed. And the basic fundamental of Bolt Action is it's an infantry game. It's a platoon or 20 to 30 guys on a side. You may have armor support, but it boils down to every squad or every tank or every commander or every support weapon has 1 dice, and it goes into a bag, and we call it we like to call it it's always your turn, because unlike some other games with the same initials but backwards, they have a you go I go, so you do all your things, I'll go make the pizza, come back in 30-40 minutes, and we'll see what you've killed and what's left, and then I'll go and you go eat the pizza, stuff like that. Where always your turn means you never know what's your turn, because if you have 5 units and I have 5 units, that's 10 dice in the bag, and you'll draw the die. Oh, it's your turn, Dave. Oh, it's my turn. Oh, it's my turn. Oh,
Yeah,
it's your turn.
random activation.
Random activation, and and we have just enough historical input. It's not completely historically accurate, because you all know that a bolt action KR98 is different than an M1 Garand, which is different than a Mosin Nagant. There's different, but in a game that you want to try to do fast, a bolt action gun is a bolt action gun. A submachine gun is a submachine gun. So we have narrowed it down a little bit to be a little more streamlined, a little more faster. Every rule book that we ever make always has somewhere in that first or second paragraph, thanks for buying our game. Do whatever the hell you want, And if you want more grit, more bite, more involvement, sure, go ahead, put it in there. It's your game. But we have been running for about 8 years, and we've put out about 30 different campaign books. And it got to be the time the errata fact sheet was getting up to be 40, 50 pages. And that was for all the books that we had. And it was time. So about 2-3 years ago, we started doing some iterations and going through some changes. And Alessio is a game designer that's done so many different things. His over at River Horse, he's got a lot of those games out there. He's known in the industry to do movie games. He's done Pacific Rim. He did the Labyrinth. He's done Dark Crystal. He did Hunger Games. Terminator. He's got a lot of those out there, and he's good. And he's all those years at Games Workshop, and he always likes to take away than add. So he did some cutting. One of the good examples is in the Shooting Phase version 2, there was 10 different modifiers. Now in 3rd edition, there's just 4. So it's easier to think. We've incorporated the cover save, so I'll shoot at you, give you pins, you roll cover saves, and I roll damage. It's faster. We've fixed some of the problems that we had. I added all the errata, changed some point totals. Hand-to-hand combat's a little different now. It's simultaneous instead of the attacker goes first, unless they're in defense. There's a lot. We put a lot more fluff. I think there's like 50 or 60 pages in the beginning. That's really nice, and it's kind of cool. I like that we have these big maps, and then we call it like Empire in Flames, which was one of the original campaign books we did. So we've got this beautiful map of. So you get a little bit of history when you start. So we got that historical themed, not necessarily maybe historically accurate like some people have. And there's games out there if you want to keep track of your rounds and do this kind of stuff, they're out there. And if that tickles your fancy, go. Yeah. But this is done by Osprey. This is Osprey's bestseller. It has been the bestseller. It's our bread and butter. 50% of our sales worldwide is always bolt action. Right. And it's around. All your armies that you had before are still going to be fine. All your campaign books, we're not touching. Armies of books, we are. And the first one to come out, and they're going to come out once a quarter. The first one out of the gate is going to be Germany. And then be America. And then I believe it's Britain, and then Russia, and then Japan, 2026. And then maybe we might update Bolt Action Korea in 2026. So it's just, we're talking about more figures. We released a new box set. The Band of Brothers has been taken out of rotation right now to be updated. So we put in Battle of the Bulge. And the Battle of the Bulge has got some brand new plastic figures.
Actually, hang on a second, John. Just before we go further, I know we've got some photos that I can bring up.
I'll stop. I'll stop.
But no, that's cool. But I just wanted to go back and touch on a point. It's always a fun one. It's a fun point of discussion, I think. For me, I enjoy having the discussion. When we talk about different games, one of the most important, in my opinion, one of the most important things in a game is having some good lore, some good story, some good reason to be doing what your models are doing.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's history.
Yeah. The fun part there is that I'm sure that a lot of historical game authors are looking at it going, well, I don't need to put any lore in because I'm not making any of it up. It's all based on history. If people want to learn about the history, they can go and read the history. And you can go, okay, sure, that all makes sense. But when you might be talking to a gamer who has not studied World War II history or Black Powder history or ancient history or whatever it happens, whatever rulebook you happen to be talking about.
If you're talking, you could be talking to a non-dad.
A non-dad, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody who isn't.
Dad, dude, dads love World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. but it's great. What's great is, like, for example, on page 99, there's a story about, a picture of, by Peter Dennis, Umro Singh. I had never heard of this guy, but he is an Indian that won the Victoria Cross and was still alive after the war. So I ended up having to learn something. And it has, the lore has already been written, but some people say, "Oh, aren't you done with World War II yet? You've got 30 campaign books." No. No. There's still a lot more out there.
It's one of the things, right? That when you have that, you can go, okay, yeah, it's World War II. Go and read about World War II history. Like, where do I start? There are billions of words that have been written on World War II history.
And then you get the debate. When did it? You can do the debate too. Was it 39 or 36? Some people say when Japan. You nailed the head, Dave.
We get a couple of questions in the chat. So the first one is Josh actually had a comment, which is the great thing about Warlord Games is that it's a one-stop shop. We used to have to source figures from disparate manufacturers to play historicals. Lots of 172 historic model kits, troops back in the day. Scott wants to know if the official bag used for every bolt action game is officially the Royal Crown, the purple Crown Royal drawstring bag. I wrote that is the official bag, the official drawstring bag, but you can use any drawstring bag. And now they have the faction specific ones. In that photo of John's table, there's a Japanese one in the foreground. Jeff Smith just jumped on. Greetings, Jeff. And then Scott wanted to know, do individual weapon options matter? I've got wads of Americans unbuilt because I wasn't trying to arm them. And does this matter? From what I understand, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, if you arm them with bolt action rifles, they just have bolt action rifles. If you arm them with submachine guns, they have submachine guns. So it matters how you want your squad to look, but like in terms of how they're armed, like there's just like a specific weapon type, and they all fall under that category.
Yeah, so. and you can look up like a basic squad is 4 guys with rifles and 1 sergeant with the SMG. Yeah, and there you go. It's all good.
And the M1 carbine is the same as in the game is going to be the same as the M1.
Yep. Yeah, and Dave, you painted up a bunch of really good ones in that recently in that book you did. It was a great job. Oh, that's another picture. Sorry, okay. But
it's one of those things. So knowing that there's that extra, getting back to the lore, knowing there's that extra history in the book as well.
Yeah.
Where it not only gives you that overview of the war, what went on where, but it narrows, it zooms in on people that you can relate to. You can find those people and that individual who did this thing that might inspire you to collect a force around their regiment. Or
you look in your relative, your uncle, your brother, your dad, your granddad, somebody in there. And I don't know how it does it, but it seems like, at least for me, every time I play bolt action, there is a cinematic effect that puts you in the action. I don't know how, it just feels like you're on the tabletop and you're in a movie, and you can recreate any movie you want, fact or fiction. You can go find up and you can teach people. It becomes a teaching element. I have a really nice table for Operation Chariot, which is when they jammed that boat in the dock and blew it up to stop the Germans from using it. I made a table out of it, and I'm still building that table, and I still, go back to it every once in a while, build up more and play with it. And it's just our new box, the Battle of the Bulge. It's got winter Volkswagens and winter Americans, and there's going to be a bunch more support teams and stuff like that coming out for both. Oh, there's a little special figure talking about I think it's Phelps or Phillips. He was a guy that during the Battle of the Bulge blew up a couple tanks with rifle grenades and bazookas. You can either arm him with a bazooka or a rifle grenade.
Excellent. There's the Battle of the Bulge box there.
Yep.
Just quickly, I noticed Dave Hummel said it's giving history a focus and a name.
Yes,
People paint
that was
broad
good, Dave.
strokes. This puts you in the trenches for actions, not campaigns or battles.
Yep.
This is creating your own narrative, focusing on actions that lead up to the broad stroke of history.
Yeah, a lot of people like to do Brerecourt Manor. That was from Band of Brothers, and I've seen that in different iterations all over the United States.
I just want to run Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah. Oddballs heroes. We don't have Kelly's heroes. We have oddballs heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, they have we shoot paint rounds. They should make like pretty pictures and stuff.
Yeah, and we have that card in Achtung Panzer. You can run Oddball's tank in Achtung Panzer now. There's a card for it.
So good.
It's got music and it's got the diesel engine, the Detroit diesel, and the pipe, and
Nice.
There's the Fossey makers. Yeah.
So these are these plastic?
Yeah, they're plastic, hard plastic, and there's about 12 different heads. A lot of them with cigars or cigarettes in their mouths. There's four Panzerfausts on that sprue. There's a guy wielding a sharpened shovel, a guy carrying the FG-42s, the Sturmgewehrs, armed up as veteran Fallschirmjägers in different winter gear.
So you can see there, you got the field cap.
Yep.
You've got the Fallschirmjäger helmet.
Yeah.
Fallschirmjäger helmet with the snow camo.
Guy on the far left has got the Urshaka or the Eastern. Yep.
So you got the flaps that would fold down over the.
Yep.
The quilted. I haven't seen the quilted pants before.
Yeah, that was great, and they paint up beautifully, Dave.
Yeah, they look great. Nice. What else we got there? Sorry, I'm just confused by Scott's. Hey, Warlord has a bolt action campaign game with minis and everything. Or am I wrong?
We have Combined Arms, which is
Combined Arms is amazing.
And then the 1st of October we have a crowdfunded game called Vanguard that's going to come out, and we had a display of that last Saturday at our open day in England, in Nottingham, and it's got a lot of bolt action elements in it. You have to build your squads up and get them armed and get them transported, and you can get some fuel and then get them on. So there's some logistics in that game, and it takes place in Normandy, and you have to get them on the board. And you'll see a lot of promo coming up. We've been talking about and showing pictures and stuff. And there's my Americans. There's the Americans. And I love these guys because I'm going to be using them for my Marines for Korea. And now I got some winter. I like the different poses. Like you can see that we have a hand with a right there with the canteen. Yep. And there's a guy swapping out guns. Oh, we didn't talk about, the Fallschirmjägers have captured weapons, PPSHs and Stens. These guys have got bars and a rifle. There's a rifle grenade attachment, so you can put rifle grenades on your guys. Thompsons. Sorry. There's the Bedford.
Hang on.
Yep.
That thing's awesome.
So yeah, you got the BAR there.
Mm-hmm.
The one of my favorite sort of little factoids about the BAR is that so the Browning automatic rifle was invented in 1917.
Yep.
And could have been sent to World War I, to the Europe with World War I, but the American government didn't want it to fall into the hands of the Germans, so they did not provide it to their troops.
Yep.
That thing is awesome.
Yeah. Everybody who had one kept it.
Yeah.
We're doing Korea.
Yep. So yeah, it's a weapon that was around for like 30, 40 years.
Yeah. And again, 12 or 15 different heads. And the arms, if you do it right, you can take some of the arms, like that Fallschirmjäger arm with the shovel, and put it on the Americans, because there's no it's just a sleeve. So you can do a little bit of modeling. So the kit bashing that we have now available with these kits, and we're gonna finally get the Russian up to speed. John talked about it over the weekend. That's the last one of all of our sprues that had to have a weapons sprue, so you could put the weapon in the hands instead of having them in their hands like these guys do. So would be one piece, but the kit bashing and the amount of cigars or cigarettes or pointing and like, you know, just the dynamic poses is just.
Yep. We got this guy here who looks like he's probably about to be yelling something.
Yep.
I like Tom Selleck in the foreground here.
Yeah, exactly, man. There he is.
Great, isn't he?
Yeah. It's again, a lot of the kit bashing, a lot of fun, and you can pre-order them now. They'll go hit the streets here. Oh, next.
Cool. Excellent. But yeah, there's
Bedford.
Bedford.
Yep. And
this is one of the British kits that's coming out.
Yep. There it is.
Is that plastic or is that resin?
It is plastic, and we're going to do a lot more plastics. And the rumor is that every Army book, when it comes out, is going to have a new plastic kit. Cool. So
nice.
Yep. There's some really cool ones coming down the pike. There is so much stuff in the drawing board for 2025. It is amazing the amount of stuff. We've shifted into high gear. We're really starting to get our processes down. The Keith and the crew that do the stuff on our warehouse right now, we're very proud of the fact that if you give us an order on Monday, it'll probably be, well, not probably, 98.7% chance it'll be out the door by Wednesday to your on its way to you. So we have a 48-hour turnaround time and an accuracy fill of rate of 99.7.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so we were just talking about too. This is the anniversary in October. October 1st will be our 4-year. We've only been in the new facility for 4 years now, and it's like home. It's just, if you ever get a chance, you're nuts. Come to see our place. We'll give you a tour on Fridays, and then you can walk 15 minutes down the road if you need to and have a beer at Bugman's. We're only 15 minutes away from the other place.
Nice. Excellent. Next up.
Yes, the plastic. Now, see that was one of I think that's one of the ones that was entered in this weekend's painting. Or no, that's one of the new. That could be a new T34, or it also shows the new storage packs that we have for the Achtung Panzer sets. And right now,
the laundry basket.
Yeah, the laundry basket. They have that big Balyanka or Terlianka, that big guitar, the big triangle guitar. And they have vodka bottles, and they have a Russian nesting kind of doll in the Russian set. The British
just
set
the essentials. Just the essentials.
Yeah, and the British one has bagpipes. Their teddy bear's got a steel pot, and the Americans got a guitar case and Coke bottles and K rations and C rats. And then the German one has a little doll and some baskets of food and a what the hell's that thing? Accordion.
Okay.
And right now you can only get them in the Achtung Panzer tank sets, but I'm pretty sure that soon we'll be selling them separately or in bunches. So
okay.
But yeah, that's showing off the new stowage kits.
Yep. Initially, I was thinking, it looks like a whole bunch of bottles of beer, like some Czech Pilsner or something. But then I was like, maybe they're in a different kind of cocktail.
Vodka, yeah.
Yep.
That's the Alpinis. That's our new the Alpini set coming out. In each new set, there the little. This is support. This is this. No, let's see. That's the support box, the medium artillery piece, and the sniper. So that's a mixed box. No, that is the support box because you get the medium howitzer. Yep, that's the Alpini support box. The little guy's got the pipe there, and they got the fancy looking radio.
I'm loving the guy with the pipe. That's pretty great.
Yeah, each little support box now has got like a little vignette. The British 8th Army one's got a guy. The guy on the radio's got a monkey trying to fighting them with the radio, and there's just these little. The rule of cool, I say. Yeah, I call the rule of cool, comes into effect on some of our models now. And these are all, I do believe, made out of our Warlord Resin Plus. So they paint up like metal. They look like metal, but they're lighter, easier to work with, and that's the new Alpini set.
And the Alpini are the Italians.
Italians, yeah, Italian mountain troops. Yep. That's
Cool.
okay. I'm sorry.
Just make sure, because not everybody's going to know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah.
It's
But
Italian. It's Italian for Alpine.
Right. And you know, and
nice.
yeah. And what's really cool, when we released our Italian basic sprue, everybody loved number 17 on the sprue, which as labeled is left arm given the Italian gesture. So, yeah. You can make your Italians have that, you know. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. I might have to get that for some. I might have to get that for some Imperial Guard conversions. Just have have some Imperial Guard officers just being, hey.
And that's our new Hungarians. We got a bunch of Hungarians coming out. Border patrols. That's their mountain troops, and then we got the gendarme and the border patrol guys. But a lot more Hungarians, and that's the Hungarian truck, and that's the Hungarian tank. For a long time, people had to make do with something else, but that's the actual plastics. I do believe they're going to be plastics.
Oh wow!
The Savini and their truck. That's a heavy duty truck, but that's all plastics, all Hungarians.
Cool. Is that an assault gun?
Yeah. It's like a Stug. It's their equivalent of a Stug. A Stungovich. It is an assault gun. You're correct.
Yeah. Cool. And I love these guys got all of the
ropes
and wires. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, they look great. Lots of character in there as well.
Those will be metal, if I'm not mistaken. The men will be metal, but the tanks and the trucks will be plastic.
The guy on the left. Behold my squad.
That's right. Ta-da!
All that, guys.
That's right.
Awesome.
And that's when you counter this with your Italian sergeant who's like, hey,
that's right. I'll show you my guys.
that's all.
And there's the release schedule. Awesome. There it is. Yeah, first quarter. We're not rushing this, and a lot of people say, well, we should have came out with all at once. Writing 320 pages,
dude. That's so hard to do.
And then each one of those are 100 plus pages. There's just no way.
You're not rushing it until this quarter, Q4.
Exactly.
I see what you did there, Dave. Very nice.
Nice. Yeah. So
it's so rare we get the opportunity.
Yeah, that's true.
And looking at this release, there's a good chance, first quarter, January, February, March, April, May, June, Adepticon falls on the end of that first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. Right. So there may be a chance that we'll have not only the German book, but maybe a taste of the U.S. one.
For people watching at home or listening, does this like if I buy the American or if I buy the British book, does that have all the allies? So does that have like the Australians in there and stuff like that? Or
Commonwealth? It's a Commonwealth. It'll be the Commonwealth, and that's what I'm if I'm not mistaken. And it's taken us a bit because we're trying to take all the stuff from the campaign books and put it in there too. So you'll have everything in one-stop shop if we can, or we'll have reference. Now, it's not to say that if you're playing Japan or playing Russia, you've got the fourth quarter or the first quarter of 2026. There's still going to be PDFs to get you by until these things come out. So there'll be PDFs released along with the big book.
Yeah, it'll bring everybody up to square so everybody can kind of have updated rules.
Right. And you see right there, new miniatures, new plastic infantry, new plastic vehicles, and a whole lot more. There was some pictures that Wojtek was talking about or showing to some folks during the open day of some new German sprues that are just, oh my God, it's mid-war stuff.
Are the Italians in the German book, or are they getting their own book?
They'll probably get their own book, and these are the five big guys, and then there'll be a book for the Allies and a book for the Axis. The Finland, Poland, stuff like that.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, there we go. There's the roadmap. Looking through that.
Yep. And then of course, again, that's the bolt action stuff. And then you put on top of that K-47, and you put on top of that the new Epic. A new other things we're going to come out with, and a 2000 AD thing we're going to come out with because we do one about every year. So we got And then we've got, Skytrex is pumping out stuff for Cruel Seas and pumping out stuff for Gates
Victory at
Ventaris.
Sea and-
Yeah, no, Gates, and then Victory Seas got stuff coming out, and there's Blood Red Sky stuff coming out.
I love Victory at Sea. Victory at Sea is like one of my favorite games. So anybody who's played, if you've played Battlefleet Gothic, when Battlefleet Gothic went under, the Armada system is what it is. So there was like Federation Armada, which runs on the same rules, and then there was like Noble Armada, which was like a generic sci-fi game, and then Victory at Sea runs on the Armada rule set. So if you've played any of those games, it feels super comfortable. Like I started playing it, I love it. It's sort of like, I'm gonna have my destroyers run up and drop torpedoes, and I'm gonna have my carrier turn and launch fighter craft. It's awesome. I love that.
And it's a deep, dark rabbit hole. I'm teetering on the edge already. And Victory at Sea and Blood Red Skies and Bolt Action all are going to have an app released in the next month that you can do on your phone, and you can do your army lists and build things just like that. And it's a like, I don't know, for the price of a pot of paint,
right?
You can get it updated every month. And it's a really cool thing. The big tagline that we have for our version 3 is, it's the best World War II game, just got better. And of course, some people think we're being a little arrogant about saying it's the best game. And there's a lot of World War II games out there, but this is the one that most people play. I think it's the best one. It's fast and quick and fun. Who wants to play a game for 8 or 9 hours and not have an outcome? All our games are designed to play in about 2-3 hours, maybe 4 tops. We've done black powder in 45 minutes one time. It was crazy, but I mean, fast and fun. So it's all about.
Will this new edition be compatible with Combined Arms?
Yeah. You're just when you did the Bolt Action event, you do it with Combined Arms. So you're this now.
Yeah, because you're just tracking results with Combined Arms. But...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then one of the things that John talked, we had 3 seminars this weekend. We had John and Rick Priestley talking about Warlord. And then we had Beth and Alessio talking about Bolt Action. And then Andy Chambers and Roger Garris talked about K-47. And during the talk with John, they were talking about his other pet project is he did a book on the Boer War. And he had let fall that it's going to be in black powder. But because of the nature of the Boer War and what it was there wasn't any big engagements. It was a lot of small unit tactics. So there's going to be a section possibly that allows you to play Bolt Action in the Boer War. So it'll be a crossover from the bolt action and the black powder rules.
Oh, so you can do skirmish actions.
Yeah.
I still would love for you guys to do some crazy event at like Adepticon or something where you're like, oh, we're gonna do Operation Overlord using Combined Arms. So you'd have like naval engagements. You could do Cruel Seas for all like the French river stuff. You could do Blood Red Skies. You could do like the RAF attacking like the Luftwaffe. Like you could do like if for anybody who hasn't used it, Combined Arms is basically sort of a resource management tool that runs all of the World War II stuff, and you can run it together.
Right.
So it would be like Dave could be playing a Blood Red Skies game that's all air-to-air combat, and John could be playing Victory at Sea, and Scott could be playing Bolt Action, and I could be playing Cruel Seas, and all of our results can go into Combined Arms, and we can kind of track the progress of like the Allies or the Axis or the Japanese and the Americans. Like it's really, really cool. It's a really cool thing.
We tried to do something like that 2 years ago or 3 years ago to Adepticon, and I didn't manage it as best as I could. We had a big area set up with 4 Bolt Action tables, 2 Blood Red Skies / Victory at Sea / Cruel Seas, and we had the map boards, the 4 map boards on the table, and we had certain areas lined out to be captured. And I said, and I thought I wrote it up well, but I should have stood there and told everybody who came in. And if you signed up for that, see me and I'll make it up for you if you had to pay to play the game. But I still feel bad about that. But we set it up that you could come in. It was come as you are, whenever you want to do. Hey, I got 2 hours before my next game. Let's go pump out a game of Blood Red Skies or something and put the results like you just said, Jake. And that's Combined Arms works so great for that. And it's It's a great little, like you said, a battle management system.
Yeah, it's awesome, but it is like Dave would say, it is super granular, and it is very like particulate heavy. So you need to have people that understand. They need to manage all that stuff. But if you do it right, it's just super cool. It is like one of the most. I think it's one of the most ambitious projects that Warlord has ever done, and what it's trying to tackle is just awesome. So like we could be like, hey, we're gonna run Operation Overlord. Okay, cool. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have our Navy move in, and they're gonna deal with any German assets that are in the area. Okay, cool. So that's the first engagement. And then we're gonna have the RAF is gonna do strategic bombing, and you're gonna have to deal with the Luftwaffe, and we're gonna have a Blood Red Skies game that has that. And then we record the results. And then if the Allies win, then the next stage gets this. If the Axis wins, the next stage gets this. Then we do the landing. Like it's just it's really cool. It's a really cool way to manage like 4 or 5 systems. So if we're all playing bolt action and Dave's like, I don't want to play bolt action, I want to play Cruel Seas. Okay, cool. Like we can still play in the same campaign. Dave can play Cruel Seas, and he's still helping the team.
Yep.
So.
Helping the team. I like it. Like I'm gonna lose. I probably would, but anyway. No, I want to move on a little bit. And John, I know that we've got a couple of folks in the chat who are interested in a bit more. You don't have to give details about what's coming up, but if you can give an overview of Conflict 47 and what that's about and how that exists alongside Bold Action.
Yeah, and a lot of all the kits that you have out now and all the kits that you've bought for Bolt Action will be fine. And it's such a great crossover. I mean, all your infantry will be the same back and forth, but if you
take a step back, what is Conflict 47? Imagine nobody else in the chat knows what Conflict 47 is.
Right. Okay. So Conflict 47 is World War II didn't end in 45. It's still going on, and it's 1947. What had happened is in 43, when we did the test in Alamogordo, that we tested the bomb and everything went well. It put a crack in the time continuum, and science leaked out, and the Allies used some of the silence to make the Paragon troops, which are kind of like Captain Marvel, and they used the techniques to make walkers, mud skippers, and basically tanks with 2 legs.
They're diesel punk robots. They're
diesel punk robots.
They're diesel punk mecha. So think like a walking tank.
Yeah. The British doesn't have a lot of people, so they made engines to find robots. They made little robots that can run around carrying machine guns and with minor programs, or put them with tank tracks, and they could run around shooting things. The Axis got a hold of some of this technology when we dropped the atomic bomb on Berlin, and they got there, and they shared it with Japan. The Germans used it a little different. They have animated corpses, and they have werewolves, and the Nachjager, which are flying gargoyles.
Yeah, there's like some weird magic stuff too. That's why there's like there's like werewolves. The Nichtjager are basically like bat. They're not vampire. I mean, they're vampires, but they're like weird bat vampires.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in the whole game is the Italian gladiatori troops. They literally look like there's some dudes that look like legionnaires. They have like heavy armor that's powered like Space Marines, and they have these crazy helmets with like the crests, and then they have the light guys who look like gladiators. You can use them for either side because
north or south,
both ways. So if you use them, they all have like the gladiator helmets with like the metal plate and the metal mohawk and the brim, and they have a blade on one arm and a gun on the other. Like they're sick. Like the models are great. It's super fun. But the Ursus troops, the Russians have like bears. People.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah. Well, so the Russians got really upset that that the Allies didn't share their technology as fast as they should have. So they said, screw you guys, we're going to go on our own. So they left the Allies, and they're fighting the Russians on their own. And the Canadians don't have they have women that run their walkers. They have a big female contingent. There's all kind of craziness. There's not only just weird stuff, but there's also compression weapons. And then there's the
The Japanese
Tesla
have
guns.
the Shinobi Ghost Troops.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Ghost Troops, the guys that can walk through walls, and they have their guys. Their battle armor looks like samurai warriors. And they have jump troops. There's fireflies like Rocketeer. And the technology just went on. This all started by Clockwork Goblin, and we went in conjunction with Clockwork Goblin, and we did some things because I think Clockwork did it in 15 or 20 for a while. Then we went with them and we made it in 28. We did K-47, then we did Resurgence and Divergence, and that brought in the Japanese, the Finns, brought K-47 came out just after we went from Bolt Action 1 to Bolt Action 2, so it was like Bolt Action 1.5. It had some Bolt Action elements, and it had some Gates of Antari's reaction elements that a lot of people liked. It was still basically the core was Bolt Action. Well, now we've bought the rights, and we're going back to the drawing board, and we've taken K-47 back to the drawing board. None of the weapons that you've bought, none of the stuff we've sold, none of the toys you've got will be abolished. We're not going to tell you can't use them anymore. You can. We're just going to give you more stuff, more grittier stuff, more plastics, more walkers, more kit bashing, a lot more named characters. Probably a dozen or two are coming out with some named characters, and some of the troops that you know and love are going to be nastier. Some of the drawings I saw were like, "Whoo, that's a nightmare," and and plastic walkers. And six-legged guys and four-legged guys and two-legged. It's just and because it's ours and we own the IP, we're really Pete Gosling's in charge of the project. Okay. Then we've got Andy Chambers is writing it, Gav Thorpe's writing it, Roger Garrett's writing it, Cam. I can't remember the guy's last name, but he's been known to do a lot of things. And then of course William King, the Slayer writer, on.
Gottrick and Felix.
Yeah, Gottrick and Felix.
And the Ragnar Blackman series.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you've got all that power behind it. People are saying, when's Jervis joining? There's not enough room. I don't know. But and next week, they're going to start having meetings at headquarters about they've got the outline and they've got some patches. Now they're going to start smoothing it over, putting together, finishing up the rule book and start play testing and doing that. And they're going to start doing a lot more involvement with it. And we don't want to just like chuck it in a box and throw it out. This is the first IP that Warlord's ever owned. We've never owned an IP like this. You can't IP at World War II. So all of our games, Black Powder and like that, it's all historically based. We did Project Z, so I guess you could maybe say we had that IP, but and that was all about the zombies and stuff. And
we've talked about this for years. Like for years, it's like nothing you guys make is licensable because it's all historical. It's public domain. So this is the first project that you guys own. Like you've done Doctor Who, but that's not yours. Like you've done Judge Dredd, but that's not yours. This is the first project that Warlord Games owns. That is its own IP.
Yes,
you guys control. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're really, really careful with it. Pete Gosling's a great guy. I was so happy when we put him on. When we hired him up and stole him from that other company. And I'm really happy he's doing such a great job. He is in charge of marketing now, and he's also helping Ian Strickland to manage those huge irreplaceable boots of Paul Sawyer in the studio. So they're helping them out, and Pete's doing a phenomenal
job. They're each in one boot.
Yeah, exactly, one boot, and they still don't fill it up. But it's near and dear to our heart. We want to make sure John is excited about it. Even our head finance, Chris Bostock, who doesn't play, is excited about it because it is our IP, like you said, Jake, and it's exciting times, and we're working really hard, folks, to get you a sneak peek at Adepticon.
Well, the other thing that I think is kind of perfect for you guys, like perfect lineup, perfect timing. So there have been several diesel punk mech heavy World War II games.
Yes.
One of them was owned by Rackham, and we all love their stuff, and they imploded, and like the license is gone, and no one can touch it, and the rights are all tied up in all kinds of legal stuff because we've looked into it. The second one was Dust, which also went through all kinds of problems and doesn't exist anymore. The ownership group and the artist behind it like had some issues, and the whole thing kind of fell apart. The other publishing partner pulled the plug. So there is nothing to scratch that itch. And Conflict was really good, but when Clockwork kind of like ran out of steam with it, and you guys were waiting, like I was really psyched you guys got it. I think there's a lot of potential, and it fits really nicely where there is a gap. Like there's nothing like it. And I think as long as like the team you've got is good, I think that you guys are in good hands. I think the biggest thing is going to be making sure that the aesthetic is there. But otherwise, I think that you guys are really kind of set up for success. I think it's a really good thing for you guys.
Well, and then if we can get some really good diesel punk artists out there and really, really just punch it up, this book that, I mean, it's one of our most, I know it's a rule book, but it's beautiful. There's so many more Peter Dennis pictures. Almost every other page has got some kind of picture in it. I mean, there's just miniatures. I mean, great new diagrams to explain. It's just colorful.
I mean, let's be honest. The art of every game is what drives the game. Like if you don't have that thing to like get the hook in somebody,
that's it.
Like you could have the coolest game in the world, but if it doesn't look cool and I don't see it, why would I play it? So
well, and we all come from that generation that's all we had. You pick the box off the shelf, read the back, and if the picture looked front cool, because we didn't have play tests, we didn't have anybody on what you guys are doing and showing people's walkthrough. We had to go on what the picture was in the front and what was written on the back, and we bought the games that way. A lot of times
that's how I got into perfect example. That's how I got into like Mutant Chronicles, because Paul Bonner did all the art, and I was like, oh, what's this? That picture's cool. Like, I had no idea what it was, but his art was so great. So
so it's about the art.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. We're running around 8:30 at the moment.
Well, look at some minis.
Just quickly, I'm going to show off a couple of my pieces.
Yes, please.
This was 6 years ago, actually. Now, I painted up this American Force.
Yes, I remember those.
Yep. So a couple of
quickly, I think you did.
I painted up the infantry. Actually, I painted up the entire force over the course of a week.
Are you going to show them?
Pardon?
Are you going to show them?
Oh yeah, I better do that. How about that?
If you want to, I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, I believe you.
I appreciate
there they are. There they are.
I was looking at it here on my screen, and I completely forgot I need to be seeing it here on this screen too. So yeah,
great job, great job, Dave.
You got a halfback, you got a Sherman.
Yep.
Greyhound.
I think it's an Greyhound. Yep. And I loved working on these. I did these for Armies, Legions, and Hordes.
Yep.
And it was that whole. This one was the. What do you need to do? What do you need to be thinking about? What are the shortcuts you need to take to achieve an army in a really short period of time? So.
And that was the old army guys with the guns separate. Now we have them all one piece.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's the old U.S. Army. Beautiful work, though. Beautiful work.
Awesome.
Let me find the next photo. There we go.
There it is. Oh, and that's a great scale photo too. And we could wax poetic for hours on scale creep and stuff. And there's that famous picture of 10 guys lined up next to a Sherman, and they fit perfect. And you see right there, you're going to get 5 because you can't do that scale and play with it. And it's just the hands are a little bigger because they wouldn't look right to our mind's eye stuff. But that is a perfect example of 28 millimeter isn't perfect, but it's exactly right for the scale.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
I always thought that the biggest thing you could do to fix the Sherman, I mean, other than give it more armor and figure out a way to make it weigh less, is the 50 cal that's on the back, that should be on a ring mount. I always thought it was insane that you can't be in the tank and use that gun unless you're shooting backwards. Like you can't be in the tank. You have to get out and somebody has to be standing behind the turret, like using that thing.
Yep, and then Audie Murphy style.
But I was like, put it on a ring mount, and then you could just swing it around if you're the tank
Yeah,
commander.
there she is. There's the good old half track.
So
That
that's
thing's awesome.
I think it's my favorite one from the army. It was lots of fun to mess around with that, get a little bit of the weathering on,
Yeah, I like the rust. You did a good job with the rust.
and rust and dust and that kind of stuff. It's yeah. But I think that's the last one there.
Hey,
Excellent.
All right, we got
So,
anything from the community?
What's that?
Got anything from the community?
We do. We've got a whole bunch of stuff from the community, but I was going to take this point to say, so John, it is now 1:30 a.m. How are you feeling? Are you good to
holy
go?
mackerel! You're kidding me.
What's that?
Oh, let's push. Let's keep going a little bit longer.
Okay. You can do it? Okay.
You got me jazzed now. We're talking about miniatures.
Excellent.
What do we got from the community?
So from the community, we have, just pulling it up now. Loads of great stuff again this week. Got a huge variety of stuff. First up, we have some stuff from Alan Borthwick. Some more cyberpunk stuff he's been working on.
It's for the cyberpunk gangs.
Yep.
I thought Judge Dredd, but there you go.
I mean, you could definitely use these as like scum gangers, like for sure.
Yeah, that was a great job, Alan.
So yeah, Alan's been doing a lot of work on his cyberpunk stuff recently.
And just Dave, look at this picture.
Yep.
And okay, so you see the guys out front, and you see the different types of figure holders, and then you look in the background. There's even more. You know, each to his own. You know, bottle caps, the Games Workshop. There's just so many different varieties, and it's so cool that now we have that opportunity to find the one that works for you.
Yep.
And there's always. I mean, ReaperCon had a brand new one from what was I just lost his name. I can see the symbol, but he's got a wooden one, and he's got holes in the bottom that they can stack on. Yes,
That's what
there it is. Those are awesome, and they got the holes in the base, and you look at it, he put it right there on the wall. Yep, you can hold it. Yeah, brilliant. And you find the one that works.
Jolly Lark.
Yeah, Jolly Lark. Thank you, Dave. You saved my life.
No worries.
That was awesome.
Yep, all good. I was just looking around something different. I got a at Nova. I'm just going to hold this up alongside.
Yeah, nice, ergonomic.
So this is a nice small one, which is good for it'd be good for Luis for sub assemblies.
Yep.
So if you're working with a
heads and stuff
on there, nice and tight. But this is a set that the guys at Artis Opus are working on.
Nice.
I'm not sure when they're planning on it, but it's resin. It's got a bit of heft to it. But yeah, that's another option. But yes, well spotted there, John. Nice one, Alan. We will move on.
I'll be honest. I think I own like 2 holders, and I almost never use them.
Well, the great thing is that at the bottom of the miniature, there's another holder.
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah. Holy mackerel, that's a nightmare. Where's that one from?
So this
That's
is
weird, I
from Weird. Yes, it's
Weird.
Malifaux.
Yeah, okay. Yep, Malifaux. Yep.
So, but yeah, it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love the blue that he got on the teddy bear.
Excellent blue.
Yep. Yeah, it works really well. It's got that nice sort of deep saturation to it.
Well, and there's again great technique of a dark base that makes that blue pop even more, and then you got a little bit of pink in the belly. It just great work, Bing. Really great work.
Yep.
This is I believe one of the Australian units for bolt action. This is a drop bear, right?
Yes, it is. Drop bear. It is. Yes.
Conflict 27.
Drop bear.
Yeah.
Drop bear.
Awesome. But looks great, Bing. Nice work.
Ooh.
Cal's still working on these guys again. He's been chipping away at them.
Oh, just quickly, Alan says in the background of his first shot, the police robot. There's a police robot from Dredd.
Nice.
And he also said, I have heaps of the GW holders as they help me get over the free postage threshold from Combat Company in Australia. Alan's in New Zealand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Josh says, Malifaux, I've never heard of it. Is it some sort of game?
Yeah. That's what's the big distributor? That's Great Ape, isn't it? Great Ape down there in New Zealand, and War and Peace. And War and Peace in Oz.
Vanoni,
Nice.
these two guys.
These are
Cal's been
cool.
posting up a whole bunch of really weird sort of demonic models.
Yeah, he told us last week it's not because it wasn't Otherworld, right? It was somebody else.
No, I think it was Otherworld, but I don't think the fighter on the left is from Otherworld. But
It's great work. Good blend.
Yeah,
Nice wash.
Looking really nice there. Yeah, I love that the green into the
Oh yeah, good blend.
light flesh tones. Looking good. Nice work, Cal.
Like it.
Oh, that's a nice green, Chris. Really nice. Not quite a pastel, not a quite Easter color, but damn, that's really nice.
It does have a little bit of the sort of minty feel
Yeah.
to those
It does.
highlights.
Which
The
makes
cool
it
thing
yellow
about this,
pop.
you could run these as either salamanders or
Yep.
dark angels, and nobody would be mad.
Nope. Yep.
But no,
Well
looking
done.
good. Very cool. And I love the on the Pie Blaster here.
Yep.
And it's got the red casing.
With the
then-
pink, the pink,
Yeah,
or
yeah, the-
magenta, like wax.
The Emperor, the seal really looks a little different. That's good.
Very cool there. Nice one, Chris.
Yeah, those are
Looking
great.
good. Chris Kane.
Custodies.
Yeah, Chris Kemming's working on these for. I think he said these are for an upcoming event.
Yeah, he's going to Kansas City, I think, in a couple of weeks' time for
Yeah.
a TLC event.
Got a good stuff up in Kansas City. Look at all those acro.
On the back.
Yeah,
He's got some army painter in there too, and some Citadel
Yeah, he
stuff on the
does.
left.
That's right. It's right. Yep. There's.
I mean,
some-
this is
and
this is
Vallejo
what-
too.
This is like a 2,000 point army right here. So
There you go.
I think he's
Good luck.
done. I think this is
Well,
it.
and you better use those quick, Chris, before they change the next. I hear edition 11's coming out, so get ready.
Maybe.
You got some time. You got some time.
Yeah, that's right.
At least a week or two.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, looking good, Chris.
Great job.
Nice one. I love the cracked earth on the bases.
Yep.
Really good. Cool.
And that's the thing too. Good eyes, Dave. You can have the best painted miniature, but if your bases suck, it kills the model. I had a friend a long time ago that said, "John, you paint pretty good, but your bases suck and it kills the model." So I started learning to do different basing techniques. And your book that you did with Mel and the other books you do with your artists, fantastic stuff, Dave. There's never too many books like that, and you again keep pumping them out because these shows different techniques that people can use. And if you don't think you can do it, that means you haven't tried. That's the best thing about painting is you just got to sit down and do it. You just get it out and do it. And look at the other days and those books that you do, Dave. The art of. We had one of the artists in open day. And it's just yeah. And he had his daughter there, and they were just cracking them out and stuff. And it's just the hardest part is that first brushstroke. Get past that first brushstroke, and the world is going to open up. I mean, I'm on the road a lot, and what I like to relax is when I get home, if I get a chance, is to paint. And 30 minutes a day is all it takes. Oh, I can never be as good as Dave. I can never be as good as Walpole. Yeah, you can. Well, maybe not. But I mean, at least you can try and do it 30 minutes a day, right? In the morning, find 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Good call on the bases. Good call on the bases.
Scott Raynham has said Malifaux was super real. He's going to bounce. Yes, enjoy having a beer with your wife. He says, thanks for the info, John.
Anytime.
We'll catch you next week, Scott. Have a good one.
Take care, Scott.
Take it easy.
Next up, Dave Hummel has sent us a picture of his Tanith First and Only Shrine.
Very nice.
Yep. Nice.
Cool. He's got some straight silver in there as well.
Yes, he does.
I love the little sort of what is it? So I think it's a pin badge.
Yeah, the pin badge. Yep, the bell pin.
But yep, looking great.
That's
and
the shrine. Yep.
Saint Sabat.
Saint Sabat. Yep.
That he made out of Ingresta. But yeah,
One of my favorite campaigns.
nice one, Dave.
Yeah, that series is amazing.
Good job.
Good job, Dave.
Greg Rothhauser.
Scouts.
Yep, some of the lovely eliminators here.
These are awesome.
Oh, and he's got some of them new metallic leaves and stuff on there. I think isn't that what that is?
All right,
For the basing.
I'm not sure. Actually. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that stuff is amazing. Now the stuff that you got to put on your bases now, and the different companies and the different techniques. I saw we just released 3 new how to do books out of Germany this weekend at Warlord, and one of them had a technique I never had heard of before. You take the foam like from inside the pillow or the stuff we like to case our miniatures in, and you chew it up, and then you put it in your blender with water, and you spin it up again, and it mulches it even more, so you can get some tree foliage and stuff like that. Let it dry. And I'd never heard of using a blender, but bang, there's another way. And the guy, this Greg, did a great job. Again, it's the base and the that 3-pointer triangle you talk about when you look at a miniature. He's got the light colors at the top, and he's got different colors at the bottom. Then he's got that neutral tone in the center, and it draws your eyes all over the model, which is great technique, Greg. Good stuff.
I like the pink face mask on the commander.
Yes.
On the sergeant.
Yep. A splash of color.
Looks good. And there's the back
of
them.
Oh, there you look at that camo, folks. Yeah.
I love Dazzle camo.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But yeah, these are relictors. I just noticed from the shoulder pad there.
Yeah.
Yep. Good catch.
Yeah, beautiful work there, Greg. They look great.
This is the fun part of the show.
Yeah.
Jeff, wow, where are these from?
I think this is that board game. Jeff has a big commission that he does for this guy who has this board game. So he sends stuff to Jeff in like groups, and Jeff like paints out units and sends it back.
Nicely done.
So yeah, these look cool. It's an interesting mix of sort of aesthetics going on there.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like tree dudes or
demons.
I don't know, but look really nice there, Jeff. Great. Some more.
Those look awesome.
These chubby little corgi hellhounds. Those things are great.
And I bet you they look great. I bet you he did speed paint or something to get them. You can get that look so quick nowadays with some good base and speed paint.
So
good
awesome.
eyes. Good eyes.
But no, looking great there, Jeff. And and this crazy monster.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yep, those the extra arms with hands, like with mouths for hands.
Yeah.
Just like
Yep. Jump.
You want to shoot this guy from distance.
Slice and dice.
Yeah, you do not want to be up close. But yeah, looking great there, Jeff. Nice one. I'm loving the weathering on the blades there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking good. Cool. John Steining's been super busy this last week. Posted up this drill for his Death Corps of Krieg army.
Good weathering.
The idea of this drill. It's a transport vehicle. They don't actually ride in the vehicle though. They follow along behind in the tunnel.
Is it supposed to work like a termite?
Yeah.
Essentially it doesn't carry the models in the vehicle.
Right.
So you can see it drills a rectangular hole. It drills a rectangular tunnel, and this all the workings sort of get pushed off the back here on this
conveyor belt.
Conveyor belt. Thank you. The guys who are riding in it follow along behind through the tunnel until it pops up and breaks the surface.
You know what it is? It's the Imperial Guard version of the Tyranid Moloch.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
like the Moloch digs a tunnel and then Gaunts follow it. So it's the same idea.
Same day. Yeah.
Dave said the same thing. Like it's great.
Yeah. And John said it would just dump the dirt in front of the troops. It makes no sense. That's true, but it's 40K, so it doesn't have to. But it looks great, John. And there's one of his.
There's the Demolisher.
That's great. I love the Krieger sticking out the top with the death mask.
Yep. Yeah,
and all those speed paints and some AK too.
Yep. Yeah, John's been doing a lot of stuff with speed paints recently. A lot of historical stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Great work on that. Great work. The light effect he has on like the octagonal tank, the muzzle brake.
Yeah.
It's really light and then it fades to dark, like on every panel. That's awesome.
Yeah, that modulation.
Yeah.
It's something John definitely.
Great work, John. Great work.
That's awesome. Painting up,
Does John Signing think he's Dave Taylor? Look at all the stuff he knocked out this week. What's going on?
Yeah, what the hell?
So this is like 4 times what I did. It's crazy.
Nice Romans.
But yeah, these are 13 millimeter Romans. I'm not sure why you're doing 13 millimeters, John.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like in between because like it's not epic because it's not 6, but it's also not. It's not Hail Caesar because that's definitely not 28.
But it would work for our new epic Hail Caesar line.
Okay, is that 13 mil?
Yeah, it's actually about 15 now. We're getting close to. We started out at about 13.7, just because we wanted to get you a whole regiment on a sprue. But now we kind of bumped it up, and we've started to throw in a lot of, again, that rule of cool. ACW, we have a limber, wagon, an ambulance, and a signal tower that you can make us some home rules. And then we're going to be releasing a bunch of stuff for our Hail Caesar release. Air interrogating a spy, a slave, I mean, well, not a slave, but a guy's he's got a big fan, and we've got a fort coming out. Bunches of cool stuff. These look like 28s though.
No, these are not.
Oh no, they're not. They are. Yeah, they're epic scale almost. Yeah, and we got the new Celt line coming out around Christmas. Oh, I mean, we have a new line of something coming out around Christmas. Sorry.
John said he just bought the flaming pigs for Hail Caesar.
Oh yes, the flaming pigs. Yes, those are really cool. We just released those.
Awesome. So yeah, looking great there, John. Looking really
nice work.
Nice. Yeah, keep up the awesome work. Justin McCoy is getting started. He just he's basically
that's the brand new player's handbook that came out 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And then he's got a bunch of Knoll stuff.
So yeah, so definitely, I guess the first adventure his party's going to be going through is Knolls.
That's
looking good. I'm looking forward to seeing those painted up, Justin.
Good job,
for sure.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Yep.
So that's her normal size on the right, and then she can like kind of stretch out almost like Mr. Fantastic, but she can make herself big. So
good job, Kelly.
Yeah, it looks great.
Kelly's gotten so good at doing really dynamic bases. Like I love he's got little bits of like newspaper and stuff like flapping around and like little bits of like detritus kind of kicking.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He's dry brushing on that base as well, like catching all of the edges of the detail of the concrete here.
Super cool.
Awesome work. Nice one, Kelly.
Nice gold work.
Posted a couple of minis. So these are his kids were painting these. Ken was saying that he was in Italy last month, I think, and they found a hobby store in Florence, which I betcha is the same hobby store where I found the car that I turned into the Nux car for my Gaslands Fury Road.
Nice.
But he said the store in there was really nice, and gave the kids a free Stormcast mini and a paintbrush, and so they did some work. They painted these just the other day when they were at home.
They came out great. Like they look really, really good. Yeah,
I think just wanted to turn those. And see those shields a little
bit. Exactly. Send us another picture, Ken, of the shields later when the kids get more work.
I think he's showing off the fact that like they used the shade and it picked out all the scale.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, he's definitely showing that off. I know that like if the shields were facing us, I'd be saying, "Oh, I want to need to turn it a little bit."
Exactly.
He could have turned to one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah, but then you're favoring one of the kids, so you can't do that. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know if that's a newspaper, Dave Hummel. I think that's the circular. The local grocery store. Excellent. Awesome. And Grave Tote KD. Can't quite read it clearly. So it's Hi from Phoenix. Finally caught one live.
Oh, nice.
Welcome.
Nice. Welcome.
Nice Stormcast indeed. And amusingly enough, next models, Stormcast.
Luis's Stormcast.
Luis's Stormcast. So yeah, Luis's. Again, we're talking about different things you can hold your models on.
Yeah. Corks.
Enormous corks.
Yeah.
Man, that gold is so vibrant.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Good work.
And no doubt, Luis airbrushed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But no, looking good there, Luis. Coming along nicely. I love the bases there too. That just that
Yep.
mix of dirt and stone is always.
Rock. Yep. Texture.
Malev. I haven't seen Malev in the chat tonight, but I think we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, but Malev has been spearheading a movement of sorts, which is the one box war game. I don't know if you've heard about this, John.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So the idea is you get a box of minis, and you create a game. It doesn't have to be a fighting game. It's just a game that uses just the minis from that box.
Oh, nice.
So this is a box, I think, from War Games Atlantic with some late medieval knights. He's created a game called Great Helm, and this game plays on the size of a regular sheet of paper, like 8.5 by 11.
Mm.
At first, I thought this was Dave's Volt, but
Right. But another funny part was chatting with Malev, and he goes, "Oh, dude, yeah, you can. You'll have to have a game, have a game of it because it plays on. You can just put it on your table." And I'm like, I think it's really cute that you think I have 8.5 by 11 flat space on this table here somewhere.
Well, those might be good for our next Hail Caesar release too.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Nice
Oops.
hint dropping there, John. Awesome. But yeah, definitely go and check out Malev's socials. So look for Malev the Shinobi.
Great work, Malev.
And you'll be able to track down where all that's happening. So he has a challenge running at the moment, and War Games Atlantic have actually said that they will publish one of the games that is submitted. They will pick their favorite and they will publish that game. So very cool stuff.
Win-win.
Mick Palazzi. So Mick Palazzi is in Australia, and he went to a grand tournament over the weekend in Orange, which is in country New South Wales, my home state. And he took a few photos of some of the armies there. But,
that greater and clean one looks 3D printed to me.
I think it might be.
A lot of green.
Those war dogs look fantastic.
Yeah,
a bright lime green on the carapace there for the smaller Chaos Knights.
Yeah,
it's really great. Nice work from Todd Saxton there.
Very nice.
Very cool.
These look awesome.
I was going to say,
I'm a sucker for a nice Marine army.
For a nice red Marine army.
nice.
It's like
Good
a million.
Are these blood drinkers?
I don't know. I can't see any. Oh, hang on. No, they're using a fist. They got a fist symbol there.
Okay, this is Sons of Dorn.
Yeah.
Okay. There. But yeah,
which makes more sense for this is a very Imperial Fist list. So yeah, it's Sons of Dorn.
Right. Yep, lots of Terminators, Intercessors, some heavy Intercessors there. Is that right?
Yeah, those are the Terminators on the left, and then behind them is heavy Intercessors, and then he's got some Scouts in the back, a couple of Redemptor Dreads, another unit of Scouts in the back right, and then I'm assuming that's just a straight Intercessor squad, I think, or maybe 2 Intercessor squads
up the front. Yeah.
Then he's got a Terminator Captain.
So that's from Dom Proctor. Looking very cool. Nice.
Yeah, so it looks like he's got a 5-man command squad of Terminators, and then with a Librarian and the Captain, and then he's got a 10-man unit of Terminators by themselves. That's gross. That is a lot of Terminators.
That is
wow.
But yeah, looking good there, Dom. And then Kyle Hudson has this excellent Sisters of Battle army.
That's really
nice.
He's got Morven Vall in the bottom right. She's
Yep.
awesome in her battle suit. And then he's got 2 units of Nundums behind her.
Nundums.
Yeah, Nun Gundams.
Nundums.
Nun Gundams.
I've never heard that.
Nun Gundams, yeah.
I've not heard of Nundums. No.
Nundum, I think that's like the best name for them. So yeah, the Nundums, and then he's got the Victory of St. Catherine in the
Yep.
middle. That's the big like blob unit. Then he's got a unit of Retributors, I think, in the front and the middle.
With heavy flamers.
Yeah, or that could be a command squad. That could be a Canis Superior with 2
Could
heavy
be.
flamers, and then he's got a couple units of Battle Sisters on the left. He's got a big unit of Seraphim in the back.
Mm-hmm.
He's got what's their crazy tank?
Oh, I'm not sure.
So he's
What's
got the two on the outside are Exorcists. Those are the rocket
Yeah.
launcher tank. Oh no, those aren't.
One
Those
on the
aren't
left is, or the one on the right. I can't.
They're not the Exorcists. They're the
They're the one with the heavy turrets.
yeah.
But then he's got the new like the Sisters Predator. I forget what it's called.
Dave Hummel said Castigator.
Yeah, so that he's got those 2 of those in the back. Yeah, this is a pretty solid list, and this is not a janky list. Like that's a pretty solid list.
Pretty good. Yeah. Nice work, Kyle. Looking good. Next up, speaking of sisters, so Patrick Keith has been working
Oh yes, these are beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah,
The shits here.
I like the earth tones he's got on them. They look great.
Yep,
Yeah, they're looking really
great
good.
work, Patrick.
Beautiful stuff. We're looking forward to seeing these finished up.
He's got his Canoness, his backpack and head on the little things in the front.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
Again, Cogs. Nice.
yep.
But yeah, awesome stuff.
Those would be great.
Reese Knight.
Nice, yeah, Reese.
This is like if Captain Jack Sparrow was a dreadnought.
It was an orc, yeah.
Yeah. So this so Reese is from My Mini Factory. We had Reese on in early season 4, I think.
Yep, good guy.
But he said he made this from the Ideneth Deepkin terrain piece.
Oh yeah, I can see the bow of the ship is the top.
Yep. Yeah, so looks great. He's done this up as a Morkanaut. So yeah, absolutely super awesome.
I love this.
Cool.
I love that there's a little crow's nest with like a spyglass.
Spyglass, yep.
Have some grot up there, like keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
Hanging on for dear life.
This is so great.
Just noticed in the chat, Patrick Keith's Bombshell Miniatures said painting all the gold right now.
Ah, good.
On his never shits.
Yeah, they look awesome.
Hopefully, hope to see Patrick Moneycon in a couple weeks.
Oh, nice. Then we've got Stephen.
Ooh, that's an old school grenadier.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he said he had a lot of fun sort of trying to achieve the box art colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of weird like yellows and pinks on it because that's what's in the box art.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, he's trying to match the box art. But yeah, even the box art is wild.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh,
crazy.
we had a picture of one of the guys, this month's Soldier of Fortune is, Goodbye Old Pal. It's based off the old Malden cartoon of the guy shooting his Jeep. Somebody sent us a picture of his miniature. He did it in that black and white style, so it looked like the cartoon.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was really good. And guys that can do this technique like this, Stephen, good job. I mean, that's just great.
Yeah, it is awesome. Initially, it looks kind of like there's a lot of dry brushing going on, like a lot of white dry brush. But yeah, when you then get into the deeper colors there,
dude, that dragon is probably this big. Like that base is probably this big. It's a little bit bigger than a big chaos mount.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, for Grenadier models, this thing comes in basically 4 pieces. It's the body,
heavy as shit.
the head,
yeah.
and then the 2 wings. That's it. Like,
Yep.
And you're right, John. This thing weighs way more than it should.
That's right.
Sorry, just quickly. So also Stephen posted up some photos from Slow Death Games Fest, which was last weekend out in San Diego. So make sure you head to the Facebook group, Build Paint Play Community, which is linked below, and you can go and check out those photos too. There's some photos from the paint competition and also from some of the gaming that was going on around there. I'm sure he'll post a few more over the coming week. But awesome. And then we've got Tommy Sewell. Tommy posted in the group, which is super cool. He's working on a whole bunch of the sort of classic Warhammer terrain.
Yep.
Dude, those new buildings they're so nice. Like
Builder.
they're miniatures. They're full scale miniatures. Like the amount of detail and the amount of stuff that's on them.
Yep.
Impressive.
It just made me chuckle when you said new, though, because these
Yeah.
are
Well, you know what I mean? Like the new release.
the new re-release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these
But-
are 20 years old.
But I will say, I will say the detail on this print run, the detail is better. It's deeper.
Okay. Interesting. But yeah, they do look fantastic, and Tommy's doing an awesome job. He's going to have a table finished very soon, I think.
A whole Mordheim table that we can go over and play on. That'd be great.
I'm ready for send the invite.
Awesome. Amusing that you should mention Mordheim. Because next week
Nice.
we're going to be talking with Turin Buckley, who runs the Broheim website. And we're going to be talking about 25 years of Mordheim.
Nice.
Jeez.
This is not getting a new edition. Just want to let everybody know that. Last week we talked about new edition of Age of Sigmar. This week we talked about a new edition of Bolt Action. Mordheim next week we will not be talking about a new edition. We'll be talking about the original edition released in 1999. But thank you very much, everybody, for
Fantastic stuff, guys.
the wonderful minis that you shared with us in this past week. Keep painting, keep sharing those models. Excellent. So I think Jake,
We good?
we're good. I think
All right.
well, we need to thank John. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I
can't- I can't
Um,
believe it's been 2 hours, guys. It's just so fast. It's just it's
It
amazing.
does. It does. So
So
first,
much fun.
a huge thank you to our sponsor, Army Painter.
Army Painter.
Again, if you haven't tried their new Fanatic line, I recommend it. The speed paints are incredible. Dave in the chat was talking about he wants to get his hands on them. The quick lesson for anybody who's used contrast paints, they are not the same thing. So the
No.
contrast paints have like a particulate in them. So when you shake them up, the idea is that the liquid part of the paint is like a suspension, and then you paint it onto the model, and then it sinks into the details, and all the particulate kind of settles, and that's why you don't want to let it pool. And then wherever it pools up, the particulate settles. So when the liquid part evaporates, it tones the model, and then the particulate is what's giving you the shadow. The speed paints are almost like a gemstone paint. So the idea is that the thicker the liquid is, the deeper the tone is. So there's no like particulate that you would really notice in it. You still want to shake them just to make sure the viscosity is good and you got everything mixed up. But when you paint it on, wherever it pools, it's just going to be darker just because you're seeing through more of the paint. It also has a different viscosity. So when you paint it on, it doesn't pool the way the GW stuff is. It wants to. The best example I gave to somebody is like if you had like a bowl or a dome and you poured oil on it, the oil would be on the whole thing. There'd be like a coating on it, but then it would pool up and it would want to stick together. The speed paints do the same thing. So if you paint it on a model, it wants to like pull together and hold in little like pools. And then that's what gives you that tonality. So they are different. They can be used for the same kind of things, but they are different styles of paint. But yeah, they're awesome. I love them. Huge shout out to John. It was awesome.
Thanks,
having him
guys.
here.
Thanks.
I do think it's hilarious that John lives here in the States and we decided to have him on while he's over in the UK. So it's like 1:30 in the morning for him now. Like, I don't know
2
why he
o'clock.
did that, but
Yeah, I got 3 hours.
2 a.m. 2
Yeah,
a.m.
I got 3 hours, and then I'll get up and start all over.
But John, thank you so much for doing this. Like, we
was
definitely
awesome.
did not need to do that to you, but I appreciate it.
Oh no,
Uh,
we had to get the stuff out because it just came out this week, so it was good. You guys
Right.
nailed it for the timing. Perfect.
Right on. Well, we wish you safe travels. We'll talk to you soon. Are you going to be at PAX Unplugged?
Maybe we'll see.
Okay. What's the next show people can catch you at?
Millennium Con down. It's a new location because the new venue. It's in Temple, Texas. It's the biggest miniature convention in Texas. You got to show up. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. So you guys can see them there. And if not, I'm sure that most of our fan base goes to stuff like LVO and Adepticon and stuff like that. So we'll definitely see you there. Anything else that I forget? Dave, are we good?
No, I think we're good.
All right. thank you guys for posting stuff as well. We appreciate seeing all the minis.
Appreciate
Please
it.
do us a favor. If you can share this with somebody you know or a couple people you know, that would help.
Like below.
We're trying to keep growing. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit the little bell for notifications. Post, leave a comment. All that stuff kind of like helps us outsmart the AI, or I guess use the algorithm to try to like keep doing this. We will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. And as always, do not forget to build,
Paint and play. Ciao.
Shut up and sit down.